Hello friends, this is Professor Abhijit V Mophare, working as Assistant Professor at Department of Electronics and Computer Engineering, WIT Solapur. In this session, we will introduce to the Angular framework, and this is a series of sessions you will find out, which is a part of a short course on front-end development. And in this course, we will be learning the Angular framework. Okay, so let us begin. So for this course and this throughout this short course, we require several IDEs and tools. So what are those? Let us first get the view of that. So we require first of all to install the Node.js in our system. Node.js, the latest version. You go to the Node.js website, download the Load Package Manager (npm), and this is the default packaging tool that we require for packaging the files of our application, web application. So this is a de facto tool used for the web application development in almost all the frameworks. So it is used in the Angular also. Then we have to have the Visual Studio Code, which is an integrated developing environment, and for the TypeScript and for the web development, okay, it has a lot of support available, and it has a lot of extensions which are very good and reduces the development time and helps the programmer to write the efficient code. So we have to install several tools such as linting tools such as ESLint and TSLint. Okay, linting tools are the tools which are used for code beautification, okay, or the following the coding standards, or you can say recommendations. So they make programmer to use proper coding standards and recommendation. Then the path intelligence, then Prettier, Emmet. So these are the industry standard tools, and as if you are a web developer, you must be already using Prettier and Emmet, right? So then after that, we have to install the Angular command line interface, which is called as Angular CLI. And with the command npm install -g at angular/CLI, we can install this Angular CLI. So after doing that, installing this Angular CLI, it will you can create a new application with this help of this command. This command stands for go to the command prompt and then install. But before that, you must be sure that you are given this flag G. Here G stands for global. So what it will do, it will install, it will download all the packages from the Angular CLI, this URL, and it will install the Angular globally. So you can work on the Angular project in any of your directory present on your computer. So if you have created a new directory for your project, then go to that directory and then you give this command ng stands for Angular, ng space new, okay, this is a keyword, and then space and the name of your project or name of your application. So here I have given the my app, and this command, when you execute, press enter, it will take almost 10 to 15 minutes depending upon the size of your RAM, and it will spin up a lot of files and it will create a project, okay, a framework kind of thing, where it will generate a lot of files, and then you can go to this directory which we have created with the name of the project, and then you can run the demo app which is called as boilerplate app by the command ng serve space -- open, and this command will open your Angular application on the browser. And in the practical session, obviously we are supposed to do this, okay, and practice this command. So don't worry, as if now you just write down these commands, so you will refer them when we are going to have the practical sessions, right? Okay, and second option, if your machine doesn't have the amount of RAM that is required, which is minimum 8 GB you require for proper working of the Visual Studio and all. So if you don't have such kind of RAM, then you can go this online editor that is called as stagblitz.com, and then we can use this online editor, and this is going to be useful for the beginning level of the learning phase of the Angular. So this is also a good tool, and it is actually a industry standard. So normally industry project also uses this stagblitz for their development. So it is a free tool, we can use that, right? Okay, so now let us go to the TypeScript language introduction, and if you are aware of the C++ Java language, then understanding the syntax of the TypeScript is quite easy. If you are familiar with any of this language, C++, Java and Python, and you are a seasoned programmer, then understanding TypeScript is only understanding little bit of syntax here and there. Rest of the things are same, right? So TypeScript data types. We have basically 4 distinct data types available in the TypeScript. Okay, so number represents any number, let it be integer or let it be floating point. Okay, all the numbers you can represent with the help of this data type number. Then we have a string, so you can represent a single character or a collection of character using this data type string. Then we have a Boolean data type, and then we have a object. Okay, so these are the basic data types, and as the TypeScript is a fully object oriented programming languages, so if your data is not number, if your data is not a Boolean, then definitely it is an object. Okay, or if it is a string, or it is an object, right? So object is a de facto, okay, a type in the TypeScript, and it has very short and sweet syntax. Okay, anything that in any key value pair that you declare inside a curly bracket, you are declaring basically an object literal. So here you have this example of object literal, where object contains only one field, that is age, and its value is 30. So this, if you enclose this key value pair in the opening and closing curly bracket, then this become an object literal, and this object literal you can assign to any object. Then later on we will see how to define the class and the real sense of object orientation later on, but this object is a default data type and available directly as in literal, which is not the case with other programming languages which you might have studied besides Python. Okay, C++, Java doesn't allow such kind of object literals, but here you can have this, right? And then you have different keywords which are related with the data types, such as any. Okay, so here any means if you don't know what type of data you want, then you can have the type as any. So at the real time you can assign any type of value to the any. So it is very generic type, and if you are already familiar with the JavaScript, then you know that by default JavaScript, the data type of any variable is any, right? So any means any data type. Okay, then we have a void. As you may be aware of this type in C++, Java, same meaning. Then we have Boolean, number, string, already we have seen. Then we have null. So null means if your non-primitive type such as object or string, okay, they can have the value null. Okay, then we have undefined. Undefined means the value is not defined. Okay, then we have arrays. Okay, so here you can see the syntax is similar to the C++, Java and C style. Okay, so you are declaring a string array. So the rectangular bracket is always associated with the type, data type, not with the name of the variable. And then we have this tuple. Okay, so tuple data type, many Python programmer are aware of this tuple data type. Okay, it is available in TypeScript also. Okay, ordered pair. And then we have a union data type, where you can have the variable value of either a string or a null or undefined. So this is called as union data type. So you can have multiple values assigned, possible values. If you don't want to increase the domain of the variable, then you can use such type of union data type. And then never is a keyword used for unreachable code. Okay, so if you write down never, then it means that it is unreachable code. And then we have enum data type. Okay, we will see what this enum data type is, okay, later on. Then we have a declaration syntax like this: let, okay, is done is the name of the variable, then colon and the type of the variable. So this declaration syntax is quite different than the Java and C++ style. So you may find it a little bit confusing in the beginning, but you will get used to it. Okay, so here the data type comes after the colon. First comes the variable. Okay, so let is done is a Boolean. So here this colon is used as is a. So is done is a Boolean. Is done is a Boolean, is assigned false. Okay, so here A is a number, B is a number, and this function is returns number. Okay, so this is the return type of this function. So this is a function definition, right? So similar, most of the syntax is Java, C++ style, but okay, here and there the syntactic category is different. Then the return type is optional to the function. Okay, you may omit the return type here, right? So these are declaration. Then classes and interfaces. So you declare the function like this, and this option is an object. So here this is an object literal assigned to this object. So if your object has a label which is a string, then you can pass anything to this print label function, right? So here options dot label, correct? So then class type we have similar to the Java, okay, only the declaration syntax is different, rest of the things okay are similar, but here we use the constructor keyword to define the constructor, right? And the constructor overloading is also possible, where you can pass the different parameters and constructor can be overloaded, but seldom we use it in Angular. Okay, we don't normally require constructor overloading in the Angular. Most of the time we don't use that. Then this okay, all these remaining things are similar, okay. And these are the interfaces, and you can use the interfaces just like we use in Java. Okay, here this question mark indicates it is an optional. So don't worry about this syntax, because we are going to practice each and everything, and I will explain the syntax wherever it is possible when we actually start the Angular. Okay, so and we will have the syntax reference available readily with us, so don't worry about the syntax. I'm just introducing you the newness of the language, and most of the syntax is similar to the C++ Java. Then again we have the scope access modifiers such as public, protected, private, read only, static, right? So interfaces here, as you can see, they are declared, right? Then short field initializations we have, such as like this, okay. So you can inherit the an inheritance syntax is similar to the Java, where you use extends for extending a class and implements for implementing a interface, right? So this is similar to the Java. And then we have looping and control transfers such as if, else, while, for, which is similar to the Java and C++, nothing different from Java and C++, so I will not cover over here. One thing which is common in the Angular is the arrow function, fat arrow function. So the other programming languages have such kind of functions which are called as lambda functions or anonymous functions, which are normally also called as function expressions. Okay, so the syntax goes like, so these are the functions which do not carry a name. Okay, and they are very simple functions. That means hardly 2 or 3 lines of code is there inside the body of the function. So these are very quite useful in Angular, and we will use quite often when we are using observables. Okay, so this is asynchronous programming concept, and we will find it very useful, arrow functions, when we are dealing with the observables, right? So this is an example of fat arrow function, where you have the round bracket, inside that you have a list of parameters, then round bracket complete, then fat arrow, okay, this symbol, and then the expression, which is a body of the function. So example is sum. So here sum is a name or the variable which is holding the function which is written by this fat arrow function. So this is a function, x and y are the parameters to the function, and this function returns number, and then fat arrow symbol, and the body of the function contains the expression written x plus y. So this function is a fat arrow function, anonymous function, and you are assigning that function to the variable sum. So the sum will represent this function. So whenever I want to call this function, how will I call? I will directly say sum 10, 20. Okay, so this is little bit confusing at this point of time, but don't worry, it will become very much useful and clear, okay, when you use it. Okay, so don't worry for now. And then we have a concept of decorator, okay, and the decorator is similar to the macro that we use in C++ language, okay, where you assign the decorator above the functions or the class, and then this decorator is actually before compilation, this decorator will be converted into the function, and whatever class or constructor you have passed this, you have decorated this decorator, okay, that will be passed as an argument, and then you can implement a certain decorator logic in this body of the function, okay, and that will be executed. Okay, so again this is a part which is a feature of the TypeScript, but Angular heavily uses this decorator, so we need to understand this decorator. So we'll in detail go to the decorator, and we will have certain examples. At this point of time we are just using the introduction, and what features are new to the TypeScript, that only we are looking at, right? Okay, so we'll stop this session today, and in the next session we will introduce ourselves with the Angular framework. So meanwhile, what I want you people is to just go through the PDF file that I have shared with you, and go to the syntax of the TypeScript, and there are several examples that I will be giving, so just type them and practice them. Okay, and how to do that, I will conduct that in the practical session. Okay, so in the next session we will start with the Angular introduction, and I hope you have understood this session and you have understood the importance of front end development, right? Okay, see you later. Have a nice day. Bye.